Currently, marijuana is legal in Washington, D.C. We've enacted a new law that allows people to grow up to 3 mature plants per person in a household, no more than 6 mature plants in a single household. And you're able to keep what you grow. You're able to give up to an ounce away, but you cannot sell it. You can possess up to 2 ounces in a public place, but you may not consume it in a public place.
What is the DC Cannabis campaign's stance on the commercialization of weed and marijuana?
We support commercialization of marijuana, and I think some people confuse legalization with commercialization. We have fought for legalization in a limited way where it's legal for you to have, it's legal for the consumer. It's just not legal to set up a store to sell it unless you're a medical marijuana dispensary. In that case, it is legal for you to grow and sell. It's taxed. There are over 2,100 patients now in the District of Columbia that buy their marijuana from these stores. Where were they buying their marijuana before these dispensaries, medical marijuana dispensaries opened? They were buying it on the street. We really have to ask ourselves, something that costs our public health system billions in health costs every year, I'm talking about alcohol abuse, why are we letting it be promoted so easily? And in the same hand, why are we banning something that we know is less harmful to people, results in fewer emergency room visits, results in 0 overdoses? You just can't overdose. I want like a reasonable approach to all drugs. I will just tell you right now that I personally believe that cocaine, heroin, various pills that people take that are illicit drugs, I think would be safer if they were legal.
But what do you say to the addictive propensity of a lot of these drugs, like heroin and cocaine have really strong addictive.
Sugar is also really addictive.
It is.
And we have the health, we have the death. I mean, sugar is actually more deadly than heroin and cocaine. We just plucked the low-hanging fruit off the tree. Okay, there's still a lot of fruit on the tree that has to be picked. And all this is about putting no one in jail for drugs, period. And if we have a legal way for people to buy all drugs, okay, not in large quantities, but it will take the sensationalism away from drugs. We will have lower drug use rates. Marijuana use among teens in Colorado is already dropping. It is not cool. It is something, once you make it legal, it is not cool. When you make it illegal, it becomes more cool. I believe in full legalization of all drugs because, but my version of legalization is not commercialization of all drugs.
And so, the person that you haven't met yourself yet.
I mean, I think in college, I kind of realized that all the DARE propaganda, the Just Say No propaganda that I grew up on from the Ronald Reagan years,
I remember that.
I felt like it was realizing it was a lie. That how could putting people in jail be better for them and be compassionate? I didn't see it as compassionate at all. I'll put it this way, I have a lot of African American friends and allies working on this. And some people early on said, you're the wrong color for this campaign. You know, you're gonna be talking about racial disparities, that African Americans are 9 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana in DC than whites. And we talked about that a lot in this campaign. White people talking about that. The problem is the law. And the law needs to be respectful of human behavior. And this is normal human behavior to use marijuana. So I'd like to say that for those people that maybe think they're gonna lose their criminal enterprise, well, I'm personally in favor of anyone who has a criminal conviction for marijuana being allowed to participate in the legal marijuana industry.
The person that you haven't met yourself yet.
Well, I think we're going to see it as a tremendous success, and I think legalization of marijuana is bringing a whole new generation of people into politics and realizing that politics matters. If someone is visiting the District of Columbia and maybe they're a medical marijuana patient from another state, maybe they live in Colorado or Washington, why shouldn't they be able to buy their medicine in the nation's capital when they're visiting their capital city? So, if we're going to have medical in 22 states like we currently have, we also should have it here because this is the capital of the United States. It needs to be a tolerant place, but we also shouldn't be like, forcing it down people's throats at the same time. What's it say in the Constitution? The pursuit of happiness, right? If you want to sit home and build the most epic model train set in the world, it's your freedom, it's your happiness, do it. That's not regulated. If you want to grow the most delicious tomatoes, the best tasting cucumbers, go for it. You want to have indoor cultivation of any other plant, it's legal. Why do you need a permit to grow marijuana indoors? You don't need a permit to produce beer indoors.
But the advantage to meeting others.
The major goal right now is to ensure that Initiative 71 is enacted and implemented. Eidinger likes to say, if you don't turn on to politics, politics will turn on you. And what I see happening with the marijuana issue is it's become a vehicle for people who've never really felt that their voice can make a difference, but a whole generation saying, you know what, our generation is changing this.